My beloved child, before you continue listening, remember this. There are moments in life when someone's departure feels like a punishment, but sometimes what breaks your heart is actually God protecting your future. I saw the nights when you stayed silent because you didn't want anyone to know how deeply you were hurt. I saw the moments when you looked around and wondered, why did they leave me? Why did the people I trusted choose to walk away? My beloved child, you thought you lost something precious, but you did not see what I saw. I saw the conversations you were never meant to hear. I saw the intentions hidden behind fake smiles. I saw the doors that closed because they were leading you toward a place where you would have lost yourself. You cried over people who walked away from you, but you did not know that I was preparing a path where you would no longer have to beg for love, respect, or acceptance. The ones who left created an empty space in your life, but that empty space was not meant to stay empty forever, because what I am about to bring into your life will remind you why some things had to leave first. My beloved child, do not let rejection convince you that you were forgotten. Do not let someone's absence make you question your worth. I was there when they turned away. I was there when you felt alone. I was there when you smiled in front of others while carrying pain inside your heart. And now, the season is changing. The same people who saw your weakness will one day witness your strength. The same situation that made you question everything will become the story of how you were restored. But before you receive what is coming, you must understand one truth. Not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Sometimes, their departure is the beginning of your protection. So listen closely, my beloved child, because today, I want to reveal why I allowed them to walk away and what I am about to do next. My beloved child, where we stopped, I told you that not every person who walks away from your life is a loss. Some departures are actually divine protection. Even when your heart cannot understand it in that moment, you spent so much time asking, why did they leave me? But today, I want you to ask a different question. What was I being protected from?
Because there were things happening behind the scenes that your eyes could not see. You only saw the goodbye. You only saw the empty space. You only felt the pain of losing someone you cared about. But I saw the complete picture. I saw the moments when their presence was slowly draining your peace. I saw how you were changing yourself just to keep certain people in your life. I saw how you were giving your energy, your love, and your loyalty to people who did not understand your value. My beloved child, sometimes I have to remove what you are holding on to because your hands need to be free to receive what I have prepared for you. You thought the closed door was a rejection, but it was redirection. You thought the silence meant I was not listening, but I was working in places you could not see. While you were crying over what was gone, I was preparing what was coming. There are blessings that cannot enter your life while you are still attached to things that are hurting you. There are new chapters that cannot begin until old pages are closed. And I know it was not easy. I know you questioned yourself. I know you wondered if you were not enough. I know you replayed old memories and wished things could return to the way they were. But, my beloved child, hear this clearly. You were never abandoned. You were being separated from what could not walk with you into your future. The people who walked away may have thought they were leaving you behind, but they did not realize that they were creating space for your transformation. A seed must be buried before it grows. A butterfly must leave the old form before it can fly. And sometimes, a person must walk through a season of loneliness before stepping into a season of purpose. Do not chase what I removed. Do not beg for what I closed. Because what I have planned for you does not require you to lose your dignity, your peace, or your identity. My beloved child, there is a reason you are hearing this message right now. The pain you experienced was not the end of your story. It was the preparation. And soon, you will understand why I allowed some people to leave before the next blessing arrived. But there is something important you must know. Before restoration comes, there is always a moment when your faith is tested. And that is where many people give up too soon. My beloved child, before the blessing arrives, there is often a moment when everything feels uncertain. A moment when you look at your life and wonder why things are not changing yet. A moment when your faith is tested, not because I have forgotten you, but because I am preparing you for something greater. You have been standing in a season where many things did not make sense. You watched people you trusted walk away. You watched relationships change. You watched doors close that you were hoping would open. And deep inside you asked yourself, why did this happen to me? My beloved child, I heard that question. I heard it in your silent prayers. I heard it in the tears you wiped away when nobody was watching. I heard it in the moments when you smiled outside, but your heart was carrying a weight that no one could see. But there is something you must understand. A delay is not a denial. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean nothing is happening. There are battles being fought for you that you cannot see. There are situations being rearranged that you do not know about. There are connections being removed because they were never meant to enter your next chapter.
You were looking at what was leaving, but I was looking at what was arriving. You were focused on the empty space, but I was preparing what would fill it. My beloved child, sometimes the greatest blessing begins with a painful goodbye. You wanted certain people to stay because you remembered the good moments. You remembered the laughter, the conversations, the promises, and the memories. But I saw beyond the memories. I saw the moments where your kindness was being taken for granted. I saw the times when you were giving more than you were receiving. I saw how you were lowering your own value just to keep someone close. And I never created you to live your life begging someone to recognize your worth. Your worth was never decided by who stayed. Your purpose was never determined by who left. The people who walked away only had access to a chapter of your story. They did not have the authority to write your ending. My beloved child, do not allow someone else's decision to leave become the reason you stop believing in yourself. Sometimes people leave because they cannot understand where you are going. Sometimes they leave because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Sometimes they leave because they were only meant to be part of your journey, not your destination. And I know it hurt. I know there were nights when you wished you could go back and fix everything. You wondered, what did I do wrong? Why was I not enough? Why did they choose to leave? But listen carefully. Their departure was not proof that you were not enough. Their departure was proof that your path was changing. A tree does not lose its leaves because it has failed. It loses its leaves because a new season is coming. And my beloved child, a new season is coming for you. The same heart that was broken will learn how to love again. The same mind that was filled with confusion will discover clarity. The same person who felt forgotten will discover that they were never invisible. I saw every moment you felt alone. I saw every time you chose peace instead of revenge. I saw every time you continued moving forward, even when you had no answers. And those moments were not wasted. Every tear became a lesson. Every disappointment became strength. Every closed door became protection. But now, there is something you must do. Stop looking behind you. Stop waiting for people who already chose to walk away. Stop asking for explanations from people who were never willing to understand your heart. Because sometimes the answer you are searching for will not come from the person who hurt you. The answer will come from the new life that begins after them. My beloved child, the chapter that ended was not your punishment, it was your preparation. There is a reason certain people could not follow you into the future I am creating. Because the next version of you requires a different environment, a different mindset, a stronger heart, and a deeper faith. You are entering a season where you will no longer have to force what is meant for you. What belongs to you will find you. The right doors will open. The right people will recognize your value. The right opportunities will come at the right time. But before that happens, you must release the fear that losing something means your life is over. Because sometimes losing something is the very thing that saves you. My beloved child, the people who walked away thought they were leaving you with nothing, but they did not know what was being prepared behind the scenes. They did not know that while they were closing one door, another door was being opened. A door filled with purpose, a door filled with growth, a door filled with blessings you never expected. And now the time has come to understand the final truth. The greatest comeback often begins after the greatest heartbreak. Your story is not ending where they left you.
Your story is beginning where God starts rebuilding you. But there is still one more thing you need to know, because before the restoration appears, there is always a hidden moment when everything changes. And that moment is closer than you think. My beloved child, where we stopped, I told you that before restoration appears, there is always a hidden moment when everything begins to change. A moment you cannot predict. A moment you cannot force. A moment that arrives when you least expect it. And today, I want you to understand something important. The season that felt like your breaking point may actually become the turning point of your life. Because sometimes I allow you to reach a place where you realize you cannot depend on people the way you once did. Not because I want you to feel alone, but because I want you to discover a strength inside you that you never knew existed. You spent so much time searching for answers from the people who walked away. You wondered if they would come back. You wondered if they would realize your value. You wondered if one day they would look at you and understand what they lost. But my beloved child, your breakthrough will not come from their apology. Your healing will not begin when they finally understand your pain. Your restoration begins when you understand that your future was never controlled by their decision to leave. Comment below. I trust God's timing if you believe your story is still being written. My beloved child, there was a reason I did not allow certain people to stay. You saw a relationship ending. I saw a distraction being removed. You saw friendship disappearing. I saw your peace being protected. You saw a door closing. I saw a path opening. Because not every closed door is a punishment. Sometimes a closed door is a shield. Sometimes a closed door is mercy. Sometimes a closed door is the answer to a prayer you forgot you prayed. You asked for peace, but you did not realize peace would require leaving certain situations behind. You asked for growth, but you did not realize growth would require leaving behind old versions of yourself. You asked for a new beginning, but you did not realize a new beginning requires an ending. My beloved child, I know you miss what was familiar. I know you remember the good moments. I know your heart sometimes goes back to the past and asks, what if things were different? But you cannot build your future while constantly looking at what has already ended. A person who is walking toward a new destination cannot keep turning around every few steps. At some point, they must trust the road ahead. And that is what I am asking from you today. Trust the road ahead. Because there are blessings waiting for you that require a version of you that no longer depends on those who left. There is confidence waiting for you. There is peace waiting for you. There is a new level of understanding waiting for you. But first, you must release the pain that has been holding you back. My beloved child, the enemy wanted you to believe that their departure was proof that you were rejected.
But I want you to see it differently. Their departure was not your rejection. It was your protection. Their absence was not the end. It was the beginning of a transformation. Think about a seed. When a seed is planted into the ground, it disappears from sight. Nobody sees what is happening beneath the surface. Nobody sees the roots growing. Nobody sees the preparation. But just because nothing is visible does not mean nothing is happening. And my beloved child, your life has been in that hidden season. People looked at you and thought nothing was changing. They did not see the strength being built inside you. They did not see the wisdom you gained through your struggles. They did not see the faith that grew through your difficult moments. But I saw everything. I saw every battle. I saw every sacrifice. I saw every time you chose kindness, even when you were hurt. I saw every time you kept going, even when you wanted to give up. And now, the hidden season is coming to an end. The same people who underestimated you will see a different version of you, not because you are trying to prove anything, but because growth cannot stay hidden forever.
A tree does not announce when it is growing. It simply becomes stronger. A sunrise does not fight the darkness. It simply appears. And my beloved child, your season of darkness is not permanent. There is a reason you survived what was meant to break you. There is a reason you are still standing after everything you faced. Because your story is bigger than the chapter that hurt you. Do not allow one painful chapter to convince you that the whole book is broken. There are pages you have not read yet. There are blessings you have not seen yet.
There are opportunities you have not discovered yet, and there are miracles that are already moving toward you. But I need you to stop carrying yesterday into tomorrow. Stop carrying the words people spoke over you. Stop carrying the rejection. Stop carrying the fear. Because you cannot receive something new while your hands are still holding onto something old. My beloved child, the people who walked away may have thought they were taking something from you, but they did not know that I was preparing something greater. They took their presence, but they left space for purpose. They took their attention, but they left space for growth. They took their approval, but they left space for you to discover your own worth. And soon, you will understand why everything had to happen this way. Soon you will look back at the pain you once questioned and say, "Now I understand why that door had to close." Because sometimes the greatest blessings do not arrive when everything stays the same. They arrive when everything changes. My beloved child, the next chapter of your life will not be built on who left you. It will be built on who you are becoming. And remember this: the same God who saw you when they walked away is the same God who will stand beside you when you rise. But there is still another truth waiting to be revealed, because after the leaving comes the rebuilding. And after the rebuilding comes the moment when everyone sees what was prepared in silence. My beloved child, where we stopped, I told you that after the leaving comes the rebuilding, and after the rebuilding comes the moment when everyone sees what was prepared in silence. Now I want you to understand something deeper. A building that stands tall is not created in one day. Before anyone sees its beauty, there is a hidden process. There is a foundation being created. There are things being removed. There are things being strengthened. And my beloved child, that is what has been happening in your life. You thought you were being forgotten because nothing seemed to change. You looked around and saw others moving forward while you were waiting. You saw people who hurt you enjoying their lives while you were trying to heal. And you asked, "God, when will my time come? How long do I have to wait? How much more do I have to endure?" But you did not see what was happening beneath the surface. You did not see the strength I was building inside you. You did not see the wisdom I was giving you through every disappointment. You did not see the protection that was surrounding you when certain things did not work out. Comment below, "My new season is coming," if you believe better days are ahead. My beloved child, the reason some things did not happen when you wanted them to happen is because you were not ready for what you were asking for. Sometimes a blessing arrives too early and becomes a burden. Sometimes an opportunity comes before your character is prepared to handle it. Sometimes a door opens before you have the strength to walk through it. That is why there was a waiting season. Not because you were denied, but because you were being developed. Think about gold. Gold is not valuable because it is found. It becomes valuable after it goes through the fire. The pressure does not destroy it. The pressure reveals its true nature. And my beloved child, the difficult seasons you experienced were not meant to destroy you. They were revealing the person you were becoming. You became stronger because you had to survive things you never expected. You became wiser because you had to learn lessons nobody could teach you. You became more careful because you discovered that not every smile carries good intentions. But do not let the pain make your heart cold. Do not allow disappointment to remove your ability to love, because the people who hurt you should not have the power to change the beautiful person you are. My beloved child, I did not bring you through those storms so you could become bitter. I brought you through them so you could become stronger. There is a difference between being hurt and being defeated. You were hurt, but you were not defeated. You fell, but you were not destroyed. You cried, but you kept moving, and that is something you should never forget. Because every time you thought you were finished, there was still a part of you that believed tomorrow could be better. That small hope inside you that was not an accident. That was the reminder that your story was not over. My beloved child, the people who left you only saw the version of you that was struggling. They did not see the version of you that was being rebuilt. They saw your tears. They did not see your transformation. They saw your weakness. They did not see the strength growing inside you. They saw a chapter ending. They did not see a new chapter beginning. And soon, the world around you will notice what happened in your hidden season. Not because you will chase attention, not because you will try to prove yourself,
But because true growth cannot remain hidden forever, a tree does not need to announce that it has grown. People simply notice the shade it provides. See growth. A light does not need to explain that it is shining. People simply see the darkness disappear. And my beloved child, your life will speak for itself. The peace you carry will speak. The confidence you develop will speak. The wisdom you gained will speak. The new opportunities that come into your life will speak. You will not need to convince everyone who you are. The results of your transformation will become the answer. But before that moment arrives, there is something you must release. You must release the need to see everyone who hurt you receive justice. I know you want answers. I know you want them to understand what they did. I know you want them to feel the pain you felt. But my beloved child, justice does not require your anger. Your future does not require your revenge. Leave what happened in my hands, because when you spend your energy waiting for someone else to fall, you delay your own rise. Your purpose is too important to be tied to the actions of people who walked away. Your future is too valuable to be controlled by your past. Comment below. I choose my future if you are ready to move forward. My beloved child, the next chapter will not be about proving those people wrong. The next chapter will be about becoming everything you were created to become. You will discover new strength. You will find new opportunities. You will meet people who appreciate your heart. You will enter places where you do not have to beg to belong, because what is truly meant for you will never require you to lose yourself. And remember this, the same people who ignored your value may one day notice your growth. The same people who doubted you may one day see your progress. But by then, your heart will no longer be waiting for their approval, because you will finally understand you were never created to be accepted by everyone. You were created to walk in your purpose. My beloved child, the rebuilding has already begun. The foundation is stronger. The old wounds are healing. The new path is opening. And the story that looked like it was ending was actually the beginning of something greater. But there is still one final secret you need to know, because after God rebuilds a person in silence, there comes a moment when the hidden blessing is finally revealed. And that moment is closer than you think. My beloved child, where we stopped, I told you that after being rebuilt in silence, there comes a moment when the hidden blessing is finally revealed.
And now I want you to understand something important. The reason you had to go through that difficult season was not because your story was being destroyed. It was because your story was being prepared. There was a time when you only saw what you lost. You saw the people who walked away. You saw the opportunities that disappeared. You saw the plans that did not work out. You saw the doors that closed in front of you. But my beloved child, you were looking at the ending of one chapter while I was preparing the beginning of another. You were counting your losses, but I was preparing your restoration. You were measuring your pain, but I was measuring your purpose. Because sometimes the biggest changes in life happen quietly. Before a tree grows above the ground, its roots grow deeper beneath the surface. Before a building reaches the sky, its foundation is strengthened underground. And before your life changes publicly, there is always a hidden work happening privately. My beloved child, do you remember the moments when you thought nothing was happening? The days when you prayed and waited? The nights when you questioned whether your prayers were even heard? Those moments were not empty. Those moments were preparing you. Every lesson, every disappointment, every challenge, every person who left, every door that closed, all of it was shaping you into someone who could carry the blessing that was coming. Comment below. I believe my season is changing. If you feel this message is for you. My beloved child, there is something you must stop doing. Stop comparing your journey with someone else's journey. You look at others and wonder why their life seems easier. You wonder why they received opportunities before you. You wonder why they seem to have everything you were praying for. But you do not see the full picture. You only see what is visible. You do not see their struggles. You do not see their battles.
You do not see what happens behind closed doors. Your journey was never supposed to look like theirs, because your purpose is different. Your timing is different. Your path is different. And what I have prepared for you cannot be measured by someone else's timeline. My beloved child, the delay was not a denial. The waiting was not wasted. The silence was not abandonment. The hidden season was not punishment. It was preparation.
Because I was removing what could not continue with you. I was strengthening what needed to grow inside you. I was teaching you lessons that comfort never could. Sometimes the greatest transformation happens when nobody is watching, when nobody is clapping, when nobody is recognizing your effort. That is where true strength is built. You learned how to continue without applause. You learned how to smile while carrying pain. You learned how to keep faith, even when you had no evidence. And my beloved child, that kind of faith changes everything. Because when you learn to stand during the storm no longer controls you. When you learn to walk through darkness, the darkness no longer scares you. When you learn that your value comes from within, nobody can take it away from you. My beloved child, the people who walked away from you may never understand what happened. They may never know the battles you fought. They may never see the tears you cried. But that is okay. Because your next chapter is not about getting everyone to understand you. Your next chapter is about becoming who you were always meant to be.
There will come a day when you look back and realize, the thing I thought broke me was the thing that built me. The rejection that hurt you taught you self-respect. The loneliness that challenged you taught you strength. The waiting that frustrated you taught you patience. The loss that changed you taught you what truly matters. My beloved child, sometimes I have to take away what you are holding on to because I know what is waiting ahead. A child may hold on to something small because they cannot see the bigger gift coming. And sometimes you hold on to people, places, and situations because you cannot see what I see. But trust this, I never remove something without purpose. I never close a door without a reason. I never allow an ending without preparing a beginning. Comment below. I trust the process. If you are ready for your next chapter, my beloved child, the season is changing. The same person who once felt forgotten will begin to experience new possibilities, new connections, new opportunities, new confidence, new peace. Not because everything around you suddenly became perfect, but because something inside you changed. You stopped chasing what left.
You started protecting your peace. You stopped begging for acceptance. You started understanding your worth. And that is when everything begins to shift. Because when you finally understand who you are, you stop allowing others to decide your value. My beloved child, the blessing coming into your life will not only change your circumstances, it will change your perspective. You will understand why certain prayers were delayed. You will understand why certain relationships ended. You will understand why some doors remained closed. Because sometimes the answer to your prayer is not giving you what you asked for. Sometimes the answer is removing what was blocking it. And soon you will see the reason behind the journey. Soon the pieces will start connecting. Soon the confusion will turn into clarity. Soon the pain will become a testimony. My beloved child, do not give up in the final moments of your transformation. Many people quit right before their breakthrough. They stop believing right before the door opens. They walk away right before the answer arrives. But you must remember, a sunrise is darkest just before the morning appears.
A seed grows silently before it breaks through the ground. And your breakthrough can arrive at the exact moment when you thought nothing would change. The story is not over. The chapter is not finished. The blessing is not cancelled. The promise is still alive. My beloved child, the same God who saw you when they walked away is the same God who will be with you when you rise. And now, prepare your heart, because the final chapter is coming. The moment when you will understand why everything happened the way it did. The moment when the pain turns into purpose. The moment when the loss turns into a lesson. The moment when the hidden blessing is finally revealed.